Mayor spoken. Mayor spoken. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Page.
Here.
Peters. Childers.
Here.
Wolfersberger.
Here.
Cummins.
Here.
Brad.
Here. Right, we have proclamations and appointments tonight. We're going to start off with. I've appointed Sam Furr as the Planning and Zoning Commission Chairman. He's been on the commission for quite a while, pretty enthusiastic about it. And I think he'd make a fine chairman, so I'm throwing that out for discussion or support or. Concur with you.
Absolutely. I'm very thankful for it.
You need a vote? Yes. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Good.
Peters.
You can't vote, right?
Can't vote. Okay. Childers.
Yes.
Wolfersberger.
Yes.
Cummins.
Yes.
And Brad.
Yes.
Motion passed 4.
Public comment, don't see, we don't have anybody on the list, but does anybody in the audience want to comment? No? All right. And then we have our consent agenda, which includes the minutes and the bills. Are there any questions about either of those? Any comments about the bills at all?
I think I've addressed all those in advance, so I'm comfortable with it. We're looking for a motion to approve.
Yes. Unless there's somebody else that has
No questions. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Ready? Wolfersberger.
Yes.
Cummins.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Childers. Motion passed 4.
Okay, next up in new business is presentation of the annual audit by Lauterbach and Amon. And we have her on Zoom.
Yes. Looks like you're still muted, Hannah.
Oh, can you hear me? All right.
Yeah. We sure can.
Perfect. Well, thank you all so much for having me. My name's Hannah Cullerton. I'm one of the audit managers here at Lauterbach and Amon, and whatever you feel like saying. I've helped with the village's audit for about 3 years now, so we've been around the block together. So again, thank you so much for having me. Before I start off with the presentation, I always like to thank the entire village staff that helped make this all possible because, audits aren't, fun. I mean, I like to think that they're fun, but some people might disagree. But it takes, time out of normal day-to-day schedules to get this up and running. So I always appreciate all of the hard work that goes into it. So thank you in advance.
If I interject something,
Absolutely.
as you go through the audit, could you, if you point out different things you're going through it, could you reference a page number as we go? It may be fun for you. This isn't fun for me. So,
Completely understand. I'm not going to take offense to it. And then, do you want me to share the screen? I can also point out page numbers, but I can also share the screen at the same time. Whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Oh, I don't think I can. I think it's just sharing. I don't think I have the, the authority to. So I apologize.
Are you going to be able to?
Try it again and see now if you can.
Oh, perfect. Yep, I got it. Let me just share this. Let's see. Can you see that
Awesome.
okay? Perfect. Awesome. So the first page that I would like to reference is page 1. So this is our independent auditor's report. This is where we give our opinion of the audit. You'll see that we gave an unmodified or clean opinion of the audit. Just means that everything is presented fairly in all material respects. Basically, it's the highest opinion that we can give. So exactly what you want to see when you have one. The next section starts on page 6. So your statement of net positions. This goes from 6 to 7. Starting with page 6, you have your assets and deferred outflows of resources. For the governmental activities, you have about $5.7 million, mainly comprised of cash and investments, and sprinkled in with some capital assets. On your business type activities, you have about 24 or 23, yeah, $24 million. Same thing, cash and investments and your capital assets. On the liability and deferred inflow of resources side, for the governmental activities, there was about $559,000, mainly comprised of your accounts payable, payroll, and any deferred grants. And then on your business type activity side, you have about $16.6 million. All of those pretty much coming from accounts payable, retainage payable on accounts capital asset projects, and then any outstanding debt. On to the next page, on page 8, we have your statement of activities. So that bleeds into 8 and 9. So you'll see the revenues and expenses for governmental and business type activities. So in the current year, total revenue for governmental activities was about $2.2 million. And on your expense side, about 1.7. This gives us about an 11% increase in that position. So just means you have more reserves for the coming years. Business type activities, there was a huge leap in revenue of about $5.6 million. That mainly came from grants, capital grants in the current year. And then for expenses, about $707,000 in expenses overall, which,
Can I ask one question before you go
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
What is replacement tax
On page 8, top.
on page 8?
replacement tax, so that's just a like a state tax that that the village receives.
Personal property replacement tax.
PPRG.
One of the many random state taxes that is being received. And then for the increase to net position, huge increase with that grant coming in the current year. That gave us about 190% increase from last year. I will then jump all the way down to page 18. So this is our notes to financial statements. This will take us pretty much to the end of the report. I like to call it the meat and potatoes of the report. So what do those numbers mean that I just kind of rambled on about? Lots of things to look at here, but there's just a couple pages that I do always like to highlight. The first being on page 27. So 27 and 28, you'll see governmental activities and your business type activities for capital assets. So in the current year, there really were no decreases for governmental activities, but there was a slight increase of infrastructure, and then you have your annual depreciation expense. On the business type activity, so on page 28, lots of construction progress happening throughout the year. Again, no decreases to capital assets. You have some increases to buildings and improvements and land improvements, and then your typical depreciation expense. So nothing out of the ordinary for either of those. And then for the next couple of pages, starting on 29, you have your long-term debt. So these are all just the breakouts of all of the outstanding debt that the village has. So starting with your GO bonds and your debt certificates, then going to the IEPA loans, promissory notes, and then on page 30, you can see all of those compiled together for those just broken out between governmental and business type. And then on page 35, just one piece from this page that I'd like to point out is any commitments. So the village had an agreement with the Champaign County Sheriff, an ongoing agreement that they had for a really long time. And in the current year, about $890,000 were paid out at year end for this contract, estimating about $390,000 left on the contract that ends in July 31st, 2026. Then from starting on page 42, I won't go too in depth in this, but you'll see schedules for the past 10 years for IMRF, employee contributions, and any pension liabilities, as well as budget to actuals for all of the funds for the current year. And that will pretty much take us to the end. Before I, open up the floor to some more questions, I do always like to point out any management letter comments that we had in the current year. I know people hear management letter comments and they get a little scared. I promise it's not for any, to hinder anyone. It's just any suggestions that we may have for management, any new pronouncements coming up in the coming years, anything that we pinpointed throughout our audit that we just wanted to highlight. So in the current recommendation section, you'll see funds over budget, and it was for the community park bonds, which was community park bonds, and now it's the Parks and Recreation Fund. I know that in the past, or you had just passed the sales tax increment to start to develop this fund more. And so you'll start to see the changes with the funds over budget and for the next comment that I'll mention here, which is the deficit fund balance. So this is will hopefully turn that deficit fund balance over and into a positive fund balance, which once that happens, you won't see this comment again. And then the other remaining comments were just some policy recommendations that we always like to provide to our clients. So those comments were outstanding check write-off policy, the capital asset policy, and the fund balance policy. Just some things to, take into consideration, anything that you might want to implement or talk through. More than happy to help. I know we have some templates that could be of resource if you have any questions. More than happy to provide those. And then the last page is any upcoming standards. So GASB is always ever changing some rules in the way that we do some reporting. So you'll see in the next 2 years, there are 2 new standards. So GASB 102 for certain risk disclosures and GASB 103 for financial reporting model improvements. So those will go into effect April of 26 and April of 27. So nothing to worry about now, just looking ahead, knowing that these changes are coming. But that's me. Any questions?
No, you kind of went through and answered it.
Oh, perfect.
Not that I understood all of it, but you did. All right.
Well, I'm glad that I could provide some, clarity, but also probably some confusion as well.
Anybody else have any questions? We have 2 policies that we need to write. Joe's obviously aware of that. Get those done forthwith. So that we're ready for the next one. I don't know if anything else. Do you have anything, Joe? No. For this detailed.
Thank you for the presentation. It was very helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for all of the help, and it's always great working with you and the team. Yeah, thank you so much for another successful audit.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Talk soon, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Next on the list is consideration of possible approval of contract to sell property to PK Village Development LLC, and I'm assuming I'm told that we're delaying this for a moment. It's not really ready yet.
Put it in the hands of a lawyer and it's gonna get delayed. There's Joe and I thought this was pretty much ready, to go on for tonight, so that's why it's on the agenda, but the bottom line is, there's a provision that they're asking for us to put in the contract that basically says if they don't get certain kinds of permits and things, they want to be able to get out of the deal. And we've been kind of massaging that into some language that we're mutually agreeable to, which we actually, I think, are there, but we aren't there for tonight.
Okay, so we're deferring that till,
Yes.
you think by the next meeting, we should be able to get that done? Okay, third item for new business is consideration recommendation award oil and chip treatment contract, 7 locations to Evergreen Roadworks in the amount of $148,385. Exhibit 5. See if I can find that. Are there any questions about that?
Did they put that for bid or is it on?
It's been out to bid.
It's been,
So
yeah,
this was the,
This was the bid result.
okay, and they did all the standards in accordance with INO.
It's oil and shift.
Yeah, right.
It's what, I don't know exactly, but yes, if
Okay.
NFT is funding it, it has to be.
Okay, so that's what I want to know.
Yep.
and there's a map with it, so you can see which roads we're talking about. So ready?
You need a motion?
Yep.
I'll make a motion, we accept that it's the bid from Evergreen Roadworks.
I'll second.
Okay, Cummings,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes,
Childers,
Abstain.
Wolfers,
Yes.
3-0 to 1.
All right. Similarly, consideration and possible approval of resolution awarding milling and resurface contract to Cross Construction amount of $81,200. That is the next motor fuel tax. We see where that is on the map. Same thing as before, results of a bid.
Yep, and this is 12,000 higher than their estimates, which is why we have a new resolution on this one. But it's it has to be completed before the end of October. It's the deadline, so we get that here soon.
okay, so that's all for this year, then, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then whenever prior to them going out and starting construction, we asked for heads up so we can put some letters out on the doorways of the folks that are in the area so they know to make arrangements for it.
we need a motion now. I'll make a motion to approve the cross.
Second.
Brad,
Yes,
Childers,
Abstain.
Wolfersburg,
Yes.
Cummings.
Yes.
Motion passed 3-0-1.
Old business, man, I've talked about tonight. Review of draft ordinance, continued discussion to request to modify the village code to allow on premises consumption criteria to receive gaming license at Jack Flash. Jack Flash is the business that's brought this request to us, but the ordinance obviously isn't. Is it for Jack Flash? It's just to create the.
It creates a particular type of license with the kinds of restrictions that you talked about at the
Right.
last meeting. And it says that you can issue one license. So mechanically, what would happen is if you pass this ordinance tonight, then I presume Jack Flash should be the first ones to apply for the only license that exists. If you have subsequent developers that want to have the same license, they can come and ask for it, but in order to get it, you'll have to amend your license to create another classification because you don't have any more available.
what about the tour license? I mean, that's an addition that we're just approving this and they can apply for it. Don't they have, there's a, like, a package, this is both.
It's all contained in this, yeah.
I saw that, everything we discussed there, but I was under the impression they had to get a separate license through the liquor.
You get gaming rights by having a liquor license. The gaming is governed through liquor code, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, this lets you crack 2 cans of beer open and serve your
That's
customer.
what
That's what this will do. That's it.
I saw the verbiage in it when I reviewed it, I'm comfortable with it, so.
It'll also let them sell you a 12-pack to take with you, but you can't open it there.
I have 2 to gamble and 12 to go.
Something like that, you know,
You might overload your little
you won't be gambling, you'll be gaming.
gaming, okay. Make a motion. we
Well,
approve this.
hang on, I have a question. Do we want to limit this to one?
I think strategically what Mark's implied to us is you want it to just be however many you have. You don't want it to be like you have a bunch of open licenses for any particular class available. You want to limit it, and then
So if somebody else comes along who officially wants to do this,
you have to amend your.
we would have to amend this ordinance
Yeah,
to change the 1 to
Yeah.
a 2 or a 3 or whatever.
yeah,
it is.
you could have unlimited numbers if you want to, but if you're out to make sure that it's a quality product going in at each license, most communities do it this way. And so we just have 1 license, and then convince me that we ought to make it 2.
Well, the same thing applies for liquor license,
Mm-hmm.
so it's.
Yeah,
Just making sure I got my
Okay,
head
that's
wrapped around that.
And so you can buy a 12-pack. You cannot drink out of the 12-pack you buy, right?
that is correct.
Okay.
So you get home. Can't do it on the premises.
Or in your car.
They-
It's your car.
We don't say that.
Do you guys have any, you folks have any other questions, concerns? Since we have 2 people not here, do you want to wait so the whole board can weigh in on this, or do you just want to do it?
I think Matt was okay with it last time.
Yes.
He was,
But, you know, we can't speak for him,
No.
actually, you know. That's my only hesitancy. No,
No.
no, we could pass it right now if we want to.
I'll vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the submitted.
Second,
Okay, Childers,
yes.
Wolfersberger,
Yes.
Cummings,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes,
motion passed 4.
Right, so that license now exists, so they can go ahead and turn in an application for it.
Okay, and that would be tomorrow morning or not right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are lined up out there.
I beg your pardon?
We don't work after 5.
Okay, all right.
I'll send you a copy of the application by email.
Okay, that'd be great. You have our email?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Very nice.
congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very nice. Thanks.
Village administrator updates, does everybody have the staff report? I'd like to point out that, Regional Planning Commission is doing a grant preparation for safe routes to schools for us. And we're using our credits with them to get that done, right? Yes. Our financial update report, the report from Mr. Hartman is coming soon available in October. 4 panels have been delivered, and one thing, I guess I'll do the mayor update while I'm doing this. We signed it, there was a time-sensitive agreement that where we could reduce the village power rates by 15% by moving the home field from Ameren. It's not available, it's only available to the village itself, our power bills. And we took advantage of that and signed the agreement.
And that's what home field you said?
Became available near the deadline, so.
Okay.
Are there any? Mark, do you have anything for us?
No, I do not.
Any trustee comments or issues you want to bring up?
I just want to say that I appreciate having the opportunity to attend the INR conference. It was my probably 3rd time, and every year that I go, I learn something really more in depth than I knew before. But also then, you sometimes grab those nuggets, and I got a couple of nuggets as well, and the networking was fantastic. So thank you for letting us attend.
Awesome.
I'd like to comment on that, and this is the first year I've gone up on a Wednesday. We've always gone up and essentially a Thursday was a wasted day. And then you did stuff on Friday where you might get something Thursday afternoon, but you always had the problem checking in on one thing. And I think it was very advantageous going up on Wednesday. And that way, like some of the things that I attended, I hadn't done before. And so I'm glad I went up on Wednesday. It's debatable if you want to stay for the banquet, promenade, that's your own business, but I do think about keeping the future, about going up on Wednesday and making it, that way you have the opportunity to go. If it doesn't work in your schedule, that's another thing. But anyway, I thought it was worthwhile.
I enjoyed the TIF sessions because I know more, understand more about how the process works.
I enjoyed the attorney session and see what we're not getting here, so.
Last thing to do is hear some confident legal advice, so don't do that.
No, it was worthwhile. I think if you can go, I would highly recommend.
Tell me what I forgot.
No, I'm good. I think it was good.
All right.
Is this a record? No.
No.
You
Almost.
have 5 minutes. You still have the record, right? No, didn't you beat me? You beat me on one.
I
You
think
beat me on the first one.
we had an 18-minute.
Yeah, no, I didn't even need to.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
No move.
Second. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make